Could Danilo Gallinari be a buyout candidate that the Mavericks target for the rest of the season? We discussed that plus more here on today's episode of Mavericks Today. You got Harrison Graham and Jeffrey Cooperstein here. And Coop, we'll get to Gallo in a second. But hey, can we get to 26,000 subscribers? You guys have been supporting us so greatly recently. We appreciate all the love and support. Hit that sub button, 350 subs away. Help us out, and hey, that would be a great Valentine's Day for us. Shout out to you guys if you hit that subscribe button. All right, Gallinari, Coop, who has had a interesting few years. He had that season-ending injury that he suffered in the FIBA World Cup last year or the year before.
Yes, year before.
He hasn't been quite the same since then, but still an interesting player that has decent splits this year.
Yeah, he's had a decent season playing mainly with the Washington Wizards before he got traded for Marvin Bagley. But the thing with Gallinari is he's just kind of washed. He's not the shooter he once was, shooting just 35.5% from three this year. And where he doesn't really help the Mavericks is his lack of mobility overall is basically non-existent. He is a spot-up shooter at this point, and the Mavs just really don't need that kind of player.
Yeah, I look at this, and obviously we were all in on Spencer Dinwiddie. It's like maybe Marcus Morris sounds like he's going to Minnesota, and I don't know. Like I look at the buyout market now, and I'm not sure any of these guys are that appealing to me. Now, if they are going to add somebody, keep in mind that players have to be waived by March 1st to be eligible for the playoffs. So if the Mavs are going to add one of these players that could be a buyout guy, they got to be waived before the month of March. So we got about 2 weeks.
Up until the last day of the regular season as well. So if you sign someone the day before game 82, he can play for you in the playoffs as long as he was waived by March 1st.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks, we'll see who gets bought out between now and then. I would imagine a lot of those buyouts happen during the All-Star break coming up when things slow down for some of these teams. But again, like unless there's a surprise one, like maybe if the Clippers and PJ Tucker like kind of reverse ship and he ends up getting bought out, like that'd be a guy I'd be interested in. But
yeah, possibly. Like a guy like Tucker, who is, by the way, was sent home apparently by the Clippers before the start of the All-Star break. Reset him and Bones Highland for that matter. But I would like a PJ Tucker. I don't know if he's going to get bought out by the Clippers, but as of this point, there's no one on the market to me that really moves the needle. Mavericks do have an open roster spot, though, that they might as well fill, so we'll keep an eye on what's going on there.
Yeah, and Coop and I have speculated maybe A.J. Lawson gets converted from his two-way to the active.
He has, I believe, 14 more games of eligibility this season, so that might be a move they consider.
Could be a certain possibility. Name someone you want to see the Mavericks sign with that last roster spot. Drop a name down in the comment section below. They could just stay the course, so that if an injury occurs, then they add somebody. So we'll have to wait and see, but shout that name down in the comment section. We're going to talk about Luka Doncic in just a moment, but do want to tell you about today's sponsor, Prize Picks first. And listen, there's basketball games every night. I can't wait for some All-Star Game Prize Picks, by the way. It's going to be fantastic. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get started today. You just take the more or less on different statistical categories and do 2 to 6 player entries. The more players you put, the more money you can win. Got a little 3-player entry right now as Kyrie Irving. We're going to take the more on his points tonight. Same with Luka Doncic. And then doing a little, not goblin action, demon action with Victor Wembanyama here. Got to go more on blocked shots. Wemby's been cooking recently, Coop. I'm excited to see that matchup with Gafford, PJ Washington, whoever tonight. If you hit on all these, you win 5 times your money, so 10 to win 50, 20 to win 100, etc. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. That gets you a deposit match up to $100 today.
All right, Harrison, I really wanted to bring this topic up because I've seen a lot on Mavericks Twitter and NBA Twitter in general. The narrative that is so false that Luka Doncic doesn't play defense. I think that was the case at one point in time. That is certainly not the case now, and people are refusing to change their tune on it. So I had to come here to defend him because
I like it.
He has been an outstanding defender this year, and he's one of the reasons why the Mavericks are on a 5-game win streak right now.
Yeah, with Luka, and we'll, talk about some numbers in a second. I think he's always been a capable defender because he has good size. He's sneaky quick. I mean, he's never going to be an All-NBA type of guy, but You know, we've talked about this in the past. At times, he's a tick out of shape, or he just doesn't want to play defense. But I've always thought when he commits to playing defense, he's at least average. This year, he's above average. I think he has committed to his body a little bit more, and I think the effort on that end has been stronger than it ever was.
Yeah, it just annoys me when you hear guys like Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst saying he doesn't play defense. Like, watch the games. We know those guys don't watch the games.
It's like when Stephen A. called C.J. Stroud a running quarterback.
Yeah, like, what are we talking about? Like, watch the damn game is what I'm trying to say. And we'll take a look at the numbers, and the numbers do not lie. His post defense, he is 0.55 points per possession, which is number 1 in the NBA among qualifiers. He's the best post defender in the NBA this year.
Wild.
And then in ISO defense, he's very good as well, top 10, 0.79. And spot-up defense, where a guy's trying to like make a catch-and-shoot three, he's 5th in the NBA. The numbers suggest he's among the top defenders in the league this year, and I think the eye test would also tell you that.
And look, again, he's thick, he's long, so like you put him on these 3s and 4s, he's strong enough. The post thing does not surprise me because it's not like he's getting posted up by Joel Embiid. But like these like 3s and 4s that occasionally try to post him up, like he's stronger than those guys. So
I don't think people realize how strong he is, too.
Oh, he's incredible.
His legs are absolute tree trunks. He's 6'7", 240. And yeah, he can play with the best of them.
I think the ISO is most impressive to me because you're picking up guys on the perimeter here. You're facing 3s and 4s that are just so polished in today's NBA. So to be top 10 there is really impressive. You look at some more numbers here. I mean, the ISO defense, 32%. Like that's got to be a career high by a decent margin, if I had to guess. And you know, the spot up defense. A lot of the spot up stuff is just like
closing out.
It's that, and it's just like it's almost IQ. It's like seeing the pass.
Exactly.
That doesn't shock me either because he's a point guard and he knows where the ball is going a lot of the time. And you combine that with his length. It's not a shock to see him challenge, but to be top 10 in all 3 of those categories, to see these splits defensively, I think it's a credit to him. And quite frankly, you know, I hope the MVP voters, I doubt they will, but I hope they are aware of these numbers and this effort he's putting on that end because, you know, I don't know if he's the undisputed MVP. I mean, Jokic is up there on Antetokounmpo. I know a lot of people like SGA, but like to me, his candidacy should include his defensive prowess this year. I mean, he has been very good on that.
You read my mind. I was listening to the Hoop Collective, which is an ESPN podcast. Tim McMahon was on there, and I believe it was Tim Bontemps who said that he basically said no matter what the Mavericks do, Luka will not win MVP this year because the Mavericks will be 5th. Thing is, they've made exceptions for that, and most notably Jokic, who won it the first time where Denver was the 6th seed, and Russell Westbrook, who won it the year that he was averaging a triple-double, and Luka's averaging better numbers than Westbrook was that particular season. He absolutely should be in the MVP conversation, especially if this team hovers around 50 wins, which if they win tonight, they will have to go 18-9 in the second half of the season in order to get to 50. It's definitely possible. I think he should be in the MVP conversation, and I think it's mainly because, obviously, he's the best offensive player in the world. I don't think there's any question about that, but I think he has picked up his defense this year. Not quite ready to call him a two-way player, but he is at least...
For this season, he has been.
Exactly, and he's competent on that end. He's the MVP in my book.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely up there. Coop and I, you know, before the season, we were on this is going to be the Luka season. And, you know, if they had 5 more wins than they do now, I think the narrative would probably be a lot different if they were 3rd or 4th in the West. But, you know, you got to climb up. And if they're able to, then I think he could shake some heads over these final 30 games. So show Luka some love. Spam MVP down in the comment section below. If he's not the MVP, he's got a strong case to be, so we'll see how it all shakes out. All right, one more game, Coop.
Got the San Antonio Spurs tonight.
And then Luka and the boys can rest up. They got to focus in here, get that 6th straight win, get to 32-23, and then it's go time, man. You got 27 games after the break, so you know you're not in crunch time yet, but you're kind of entering that final push, that final third of the season. So. Should be a fun All-Star week as well. We'll, of course, have videos between now and when they resume play, so be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.